Okay, so today I'm going to teach you something that I have discovered long ago, and it's actually now it's a perfect day to make this video. Um, what I called is radiation settling, and you can see it's pretty misty right now. Over here you can see the mist. Okay, there's actually a towel right there, right in the middle of the screen. You can barely see it because it's misty. Okay. And the reason why I want to make a video like this is because there's what I called is that settling, and it has to do something to do with our gravity as well as the Earth's gravity. But even at this time, there is so much radiation. Even though there's so much at this time, there's so much radiation that it still lingers in the air. And because of that, during this time, it caused a lot of respiratory problems, which the world blame at everything. I mean, they blame at COPD, they blame as asthma, they blame as thunder asthma, they blame on a lot of things because they cannot breathe. And because of that, that's why I wanted to make this video, to help some of those people to understand. And also too, that the bracelet will prove that. The bracelet will prove that what I am talking about, it's actually radiation, because we are actually removing it from our body. As I stated in many of the videos, is that we are being bombarded by radiation every single second, every single milli of a second. And because of that, I was able to put something together, what I called radiation settling. And it's like a dust ball. It acts like a dust ball. If you throw a dust ball in the air, it's going to take a while for that dust ball to settle down. Well, radiation actually takes pretty much the same way. It would take about, I always mention about this, and I actually give a lot of hints in all of my videos. And I always said it takes about 5 to 6 hours. Yes, 5 to 6 hours for it to settle down. And I state that in many of the videos, that it takes about 5 to 6 hours. I gave a lot of hints how radiation actually work. And yes, I will take my time a little bit out, and I'm going to make a drawing for you, so that way you can understand. Okay? Okay, so now here comes the drawing part, and I'm going to try to do my best and to help you to understand further of what I proposed. Now, first of all, we have to draw the Earth. Okay? And this is our sky. Now, when there's a lot of moisture in the air, or when there's clouds and stuff up there, and there's a lot of moisture, they're everywhere. Okay? And what happened is the sun actually shining through. So we got lights. Okay? Remember, the sun is shining, okay? Sorry about my shadow here. That's my best I can do. I have a light right here. So what happened is, a lot of sunshine will fall through, but it's being caught by moisture. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the radiation, because the sun shines, it has two things: lights and radiation, right? Well, it has more than that, but just make this simple. So what happened is the radiation actually attached itself to these particles. Attach itself to all of these particles. It actually heats up these particles. By doing that, it's able to stay in the air. And that's why you don't see it settle down fast. Yes, and I'm surprised that no one put this 2 and 2 together. All of our human history, they don't put these 2 and 2 together to understand that these things stays in the air for a reason. Or how? What is the reason? And furthermore, gravity is trying to pull it down. Everywhere. But it can't. It cannot pull it down. Because radiation made it linger from 5 to 6 hours. Now, remember this 5 to 6 hours, okay? I always talked about it in many of my videos. I always said about 5 to 6 hours because we have to go according to the gravitational pull of the Earth. Okay? Now, there's something else which is called current event. I cannot say in this video. And scientists said that it can stay in the air 5 to 6 hours. Something YouTube doesn't like, which I cannot say in this video. 5 to 6 hours. Isn't that kind of familiar that scientists starting to figure it out? What makes something stay 5 to 6 hours in the air and circling around the Earth? Yeah. I don't want video to get banned. You know, they call it, a lot of YouTubers now started call it Rona. Hello, Rona. And I will be the first human in history to tie that together. And this also tied to something else, which I cannot say it either. All you have to do is remember 5 to 6 hours. Then you can compare this to scientists. The scientists now starting to realize 5 to 6 hours, but they don't know what it is. They don't know what it is. They don't know how it actually stays up in the air 5 to 6 hours. Well, for the people who's watching this video now, you understand why it stays 5 to 6 hours and it's circling all over the place in all those times, and it gets a lot of people. Something called, we YouTuber call Roners. I am telling you, I knew this long ago. It was just a matter of when. Remember me how I state these statements in some of the videos. It's just a matter of when. Yup. Now, you understand the concept. Let's recap. The sun shines with a bunch of radiation into it. It catches the water molecules that is in the air. So it stays and lingers in the air for 5 to 6 hours before it's actually grabbed by the Earth. So it takes 5 to 6 hours before all of these are able to settle down onto Earth. Some, the smaller particles, actually rise back up to become clouds. The bigger particles takes 5 to 6 hours before it actually comes down. And furthermore, I snuck something in this video. We call it Rona. That is how Rona is able to stay in the air 5 to 6 hours. And scientists and physicists and doctors around the world have not figured this out yet. But they will. They are only thinking, how can it stay in the air 5 to 6 hours? Well, unless they put something called radiation into these molecules, that's when they will understand that Rona can stay in the air to 5 to 6 hours. And yes, I am the first person in the world that actually figured this out. I actually figured this out last year. And yes, I have videos. And yes, I have videos. That was back in March that I actually made. But I knew this information long ago. And I knew that it was just a matter of when. Anyway, let me go back to the other video. Okay, so now you have finished seeing the drawings. I want you to do is that to confirm it, I want you to do is to pay attention to the weather. Pay attention to when it's mist outside, like these right here. And then when you don't see any sun, right now it's actually midday. And you don't see no sun because it's all misty. And it's cloudy. And because of that, and you saw the drawing, and you saw everything there, all you have to do, apply that to that principle. And when you do, you will see your so-called asthma. You would see your so-called COPD. That's the latest stage, you can't help that. But the early stage, what they coin as COPD. Another one is called asthma, thunder asthma, or just asthma, or asthma attack. A lot of things that just related to respiratory, really, respiratory issues. So, and when you can't breathe and you have respiratory problems and you have respiratory issues, believe it or not, the bracelet will help you. And the DIY for this bracelet is right up on the corner of the screen right here, and you can make that yourself, and you can test that yourself, and you can test this theory out yourself for those people who have problems of breathing or having respiratory issues during weathers like these. And yes, you can do it by yourself, and you can stop it. And no, there's no medications. You don't need any medications, and it doesn't cost anything just to breathe, you know. I actually made the discovery a while back, but because I couldn't release the bracelet, I didn't do the videos. Now I release the bracelets, so I am able to do videos like these now. And I actually discover more, and there's more videos as well, because like I said, I wasn't able to do anything because I was sort of like held up, you know. But anyway, I hope that this video is helpful, and I hope that this video bring attention to what we are dealing with. Is that I called it non-ionizing radiation. Well, actually, scientists call it non-ionizing. Well, scientists call it as non-ionizing radiation, but it is non-ionization that is actually hurting people. The ionizing radiation is actually good for our body. Yes, sir. And yes, I will prove that in the future, and I can prove that easily with just the bracelets. There's more video coming, and I will teach you about ionizing radiation. Okay, other than that, that's about it on this video, and I will see you in the next video.